Okay, my math minions, here we go. We are going to do some more notes. And we've already talked about greatest common factor. We've talked about least common multiple. And then we did adding and subtracting of decimals. Pardon me. When we were doing adding and subtracting decimals, we remember that place value is super important. We have to line up our decimals vertically so that everything is in the right place value place. That is something that's very important to multiplication as well, and that's what we're going to talk about today. Today's notes are NS4, so number sense 4. Multiplication. Now, you started multiplication like 3rd grade. Remember that multiplication is really just adding a lot of things together. But mathematicians are lazy, and so mathematicians try to find ways to do things that are shortcuts. Okay? So when you started with multiplication, it looks something like this. Okay, so you've got groups of 3. So I could do 1 plus 1 plus 1 plus 1 plus 1 plus 1 and keep going until I get to 15, right? Or I could say I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 groups of 3. So 3 in a group 5 times. That equals 15. Okay, that's the shortcut, because before we had 3 plus 3 plus 3 plus 3 plus 3 equals 15. Which one would you rather write? This one or this one? Well, of course we'd rather write this one, because this one is so much shorter. Right? Again, we want shortcuts. So remember, I'm giving you keys. You're in a little knowledge key. So here's your key for multiplication. Okay, this is your foundational multiplication information, and the key is a word that you hate, but it doesn't change the fact that memorization is the key. Okay, you're going to want to memorize all of your basic multiplication through at least 10 times 10. Okay, by the end of middle school, you're going to want to have it through 12 times 12. So get flashcards. Keep practicing. All right, your brain is not done, guys. I don't know if you realize this, but your brain is not done. Your brain is still growing. It's still figuring things out. And that's why sometimes you'll learn something in school. The teacher will teach it to you, but you don't learn it. It's just confusing. But you keep practicing and practicing, and then eventually your brain goes, I totally get that now, right? That's because your brain is still growing. So give your brain a chance. Keep practicing. And there's something called muscle memory. When you're learning to play basketball and you want to do awesome layups, you start out by going, okay, we're going to step 1, 2, and then jump and shoot the, okay, all right. Now let's practice that again. 1, 2, jump, whew. 1, 2, jump, whew. And eventually your brain just knows to make your body do that without you thinking 1, 2, jump, whoosh. All right? But you have to practice it over and over and over, hundreds, thousands of times before you are like the layup master. It's the same thing with math. Anything in math. Okay? memorization of your multiplication. So once you have things memorized, then you move on to some kind of problem that looks like 47 times 8. So now you have a 2-digit times a 1-digit. So we now have place value. We have to pay attention. So we have to remember to keep things in the right columns. Okay? Now I'm going to show you using the standard algorithm, which is really a big way of saying the regular way people have done multiplication for thousands of years. And then I'm going to show you like the why, because I know that there are students that don't understand the whole carrying. Why do I put that number up at the top? So I'm going to show you. 8 times 7 is 56. So 6 is in the ones place, but the 50 part is in the tens place. So I have to put it up here, plus that 5, because this is the tens place. Now I could do it, 8 times 7 is 56, and write it like that. There's no reason I can't do it like that, okay? It still works if we're paying attention to place value. So now the regular way, 8 times 4 is 32, plus that 5 is 37. So again, we're going to put the 7 there because it's really 40, not 4. So it would really be 370. So that's the tens place, the 7 there. And then we could carry the 3. There's nothing there. 8 times 0 is 0, plus 3 is 3. Or I could just put it there because I knew there was no other number. Does not matter. And then I have my final answer, which I put a box around so the teacher does not have to look for it. This way, because I'm remembering that this is a 40, I need to put my answer starting here. I'm moving over to the tens place, so I'm going to stick a 0 there, and 8 times 40 is 320. And now I add this together and I get 376, the very same answer. So this right here is more of the why carry. I'm showing you that I could leave it there and just add it through, or I can carry it up here and then add it as I'm multiplying. Either way works. Don't stress. If this is confusing you, then don't do it. Okay? If this is confusing, forget I even said it. Just use that way. Okay? Somewhere along the line, some experts told third grade teachers that they need to show students every single way that they can do multiplication and then let them for them. That to me was ridiculous because in third grade you're like 8 years old, and that's just too much information for a little 8-year-old brain. Like I said, your brain is still growing. It's still working. It's not ready. Okay? So I'm showing you this one way right here. This is the standard way. I will show you one other way, not this one. This was more of an explanation of why we do this. I'm going to show you one more way, and if this way or the other way does not make sense, then you need to contact me and say, hey, Mrs. Soul, I need a different way because none of that makes sense, okay? I'm not going to show you a bunch of different ways. That's just silly. I'm not going to put stuff in your brain that you don't need, all right? So let's move on, and let's now move up to a 2-digit times a 2-digit number. We've got 23 times 17. Again, we're going to want to pay attention to our place value. Very important. Okay, and because I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 numbers, I'm going to add one more place value because I know chances are it will probably go to a 3-digit number. And I apologize for the sound in the background of this video. Mr. Sissel just did his blood pressure, and you know, when they take your blood pressure at the doctor, that thing around your arm, and then they Velcro it off. That's what you just heard. So, let's do this. 23 times 17. 7 times 3 is 21. So we're going to put the 1 and carry that plus 2. 7 times 2 is 14, plus that 2 is 16. So we put the 6 here, carry the 1, or we could just bring it down here. We know. Okay. Now, I've done the 7. I'm moving over to the tens place. So I have to put a 0 there. 1 times 3 is 3. 1 times 2 is 2. And then we add this. We get a 1, a 9, and a 3. And I didn't need that extra place, but when you have 4 digits like that, 2 times 2, you may end up with a 4-digit answer, so be careful. That's that one. Now I'm going to show you a method for the same exact problem. This method is called the area model. Okay, I've got a 2-digit times a 2-digit number, so I'm going to make a box. And I've got 2 digits by 2 digits. This first one, 23, is 20 and 3, because 20 plus 3 is 23. And then down here I've got 10 and 7, because 10 plus 7 is 17. Now I'm just going to multiply and put the numbers inside each of the boxes. I love multiplying by 10 or 100 or 1,000,000 because all you do is you're multiplying by 1 and then writing down all the zeros. It is so easy. 10 times 20, you're really doing 1 times 2 is 2, and then we've got 1, 2 zeros, so we put 1, 2 zeros. That's it. It's that easy. 7 times 20, well, 2 times 7 is 14, and there's 1 0. Boom! 10 times 3, well, we've got 3 times 1 is 3, plus 1 0, there we go, 30. And then 7 times 3 is 21. So now we've got all these numbers in our little boxes. We made expanded form, and then we multiplied. Now we still have to add all these up. 200, 140, 30, and 21. We add all those. 0, 0, 0, 1 is 1. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Boom. 2 plus 1 is 3. Same answer. So this is the standard. And this is the area model. I'm not going to show you any other method of doing this. But it works even with 3 digits times 3, 4 times 2. It doesn't matter. As long as you have a box for each one, you can do that. All right, let's look at a 3-digit times a 2-digit number. And I'm going to do something different. I'm going to turn my paper. Because as I said, some of you have trouble keeping your numbers all lined up nice and neat. But if you turn your paper sideways, you automatically have these little columns. So let's do 297 times 56, okay? And you can even, if you're afraid that your number's a little off, use a ruler, give yourself some lines this way. That's fine, I don't mind that. But these are already in a column, so I don't have to worry about that. So now we're going to go 6 times 7 is 42, so we're going to carry that 4 plus 4. 6 times 9 is 54 plus 4 more is 58. We put the 8 there and carry that 5, plus 5. 6 times 2 is 12, plus that 5 more is 17. I know there's no more, so I'm just going to put the 1 there. So there's my 17. Okay, I've done my 6. Now I'm going to go to the 5, which means I have to put a 0 there to hold my place. 5 times 7 is 35. So I put the 5. I'm going to put a plus 3 up here, and I'm going to cross off the other one so I don't get confused. 5 times 9 is 45. Plus 3 more is 48. So I'm going to put the 8 and carry the 4. 5 times 2 is 10. Plus 4 more is 14. Notice I put this out here. It's a new spot. Okay? And now I'm going to add these. 2, 13, which means we carry that 1. 15, 16, 4, 5, 6, and a 1. So here we go. 1, 2, 3. We put a comma to show that we know our place value. And then a box around the answer so the teacher does not have to go hunt for it, because she will mark it wrong if she can't find the answer. This is multiplication, plain and simple. All right? Because the next thing we're going to do is we're going to be multiplying decimals. And that, my friends, you have to pay attention. It's super easy, but you still have to pay attention. Okay? So what you're going to do now is you're going to go play Prodigy for 15 minutes. And then I have an assignment in the Teams for you called NS4, multiplication. Fabulous! See you later!